Welcome to Rockingham Motor Speedway, England's only active oval racetrack. The 1.5-mile circuit hosted the inaugural Rockingham 500 last September, and with memories still fresh, the drivers were keen to return to the £50 million facility, most notably local hero Dario Franchitti. Despite the Scotsman being taken out by his teammate in Denver, his spirits remain high and he's glad to be home.
It's nice to be here with the weather like this, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it. You know, we're slightly disappointed with the race result last year, so hopefully we can do a better job, get the pit stops right this year and we'll be all right. I'm ready to go. I'm absolutely right, 100% ready to go, get on it, here to win. You know, as we are every weekend, determined now because I'm so disappointed with what happened in Denver. Paul and I have talked, and we apologised profusely, but that doesn't help me now.
Last year's Rookie of the Year, Scott Dixon, ran well at Rockingham last year before being knocked out of the race. The 22-year-old Kiwi scored his season best result of second in Denver and would love to get better to go one better here in the UK.
These circuits last year we didn't get much running on them. I think this year's going to be a lot better as the weather seems a lot better. This circuit was very good. We were running fairly well. I think we got hit under yellow and DNF'd us here, but it's a nice complex, and I think it showed some good racing last year.
The big news though for the Rockingham round is the debut of promising British talent Darren Manning. The BAR Formula One test driver has linked up with the new Dale Coyne Run Team St George for a one-off appearance and is thrilled to be a part of the Kart FedEx Championship Series.
Yeah, opportunity of a lifetime, really. It's the biggest race of my career so far, and yeah, up in the Champ Car up against some of these big boys, it's going to be good if I can get any sort of results. This is one of my personal plans on a selfish point of view. Show well here, get everybody thinking Darren Manning is the next Champ Car star, and I'd love to spend a few seasons of Champ Car racing. Yeah, definitely.
Qualifying at Rockingham was something new for the field of 19, as last year wet weather forced the grid to be determined by championship order. This time last season, Kenny Brack was the series leader and started from pole. It seems nothing has changed. That is, the Swede is on pole again. It's Brack's first pole position of the season, and it's brought some relief to what's been a frustrating year.
Well, there's a lot of tracks that always be victories if I look at it that way, but I don't think it's, we're going to go into the race tomorrow. We're going to have to change the car a little bit for race trim, and then hopefully it'll be a good race setup. I think it'll be an advantage starting up front because it's going to be tough to pass here. The pace is furious, and it's difficult when you get up behind cars to really get a good draft, to have time to go by them before the corner. So I think it's going to pay off to be starting up front.
After a weekend off in this very hectic summer schedule, the stars of Champ Cars have made the journey across to Europe and the UK. This is the Rockingham 500 here at Rockingham Motor Speedway. For the second time in the Kart FedEx Championship Series, we visit this 1.5-mile oval circuit. And as you can see, after 14 rounds, D'Amato still has a very commanding lead over Bruno Junqueira, and the local hero, who everyone is hoping can pull off a victory here, it would be his first oval victory. Dario Franchitti sits third. Carpentier needs to get another good result to stay up the top end, and Fittipaldi remains consistent in fifth.
He does, but it is very close there in that middle order there amongst those guys. Franchitti easily could move himself up into second place. So could Patrick Carpentier with a good result here at Rockingham.
Manufacturer points look like this. It's a great scrap between Toyota and Honda, and this race is as important as the four after it. So it's going to go right down to the wire between Toyota and Honda. The constructors' points, and Lola, we know they have a commanding lead, and it's a big race for Lola. It's a big race for Cosworth Racing as well, Jeremy. They're based not too far down the road.
They are indeed, and Lola, of course, is in Huntingdon, England, certainly less than an hour's drive away, so there's a lot of people here from Lola this weekend. Cosworth, based just down the road in Northampton.
Let's take a look at how they will line up for the Rockingham 500. It's his first pole since Rockingham last year. Can you believe that? Kenny Brack from pole, and Michael Andretti. It's Michael's best starting position of this season. Back to the second row, and it's the championship leader, Cristiano D'Amato. He finished on the podium here last year and gives himself a good chance starting from there. And Tora Takagi, that's his best qualifying result of this season.
Dario Franchitti on the inside of row 3. It's his 110th start, looking for his 10th victory. Alongside him, Bruno Junqueira. It's only the 5th time this year he hasn't been among the top 5 in qualifying. On row 4 of the grid, Paul Tracy on the inside. He starts directly behind Dario Franchitti. Remember what happened last time out in Denver? They collided. Hopefully that won't happen today. Alongside him, from Brazil, Tony Kanaan.
Back to row 5, and it's the all-players row 5. Alex Tagliani and Patrick Carpentier, and Patrick seemed to find something this morning. He was pretty quick in the morning warm-up. Back to row 6, Adrian Fernandez starts from position 11, and alongside him, Christian Fittipaldi. And the Brazilian hasn't been all that good in qualifying on the 3 ovals. He's missed the cut of the top 10, and he's done it again for the 4th time here this weekend.
On row 7, Jimmy Vasser and Oriol Servia. Both of these two guys struggled in qualifying yesterday. Jimmy Vasser a lot happier with the car in practice this morning. On row 8 of the grid is Shinji Nakano. He had a career best 3rd qualifying last time out in Denver. Way back this time, Scott Dixon. He tried both cars in qualifying, and the best he could do back on row 8.
Back to row 9, and well, we know that Dario Franchitti is the local hero, but there'll be a lot of people cheering for Darren Manning in the Team St George Ford Lola. He starts his first ever Kart FedEx Championship Series race alongside Mario Dominguez, and all the way back on the 10th row in 19th position, it is Michel Jourdain Jr., who had trouble with the car. It was pushing a lot, it was fairly loose, but while we say all the way back in 19th, Jeremy, there's only 7/10 of a second separating this field.
There was. It's very, very close. In one of the first practice session on Saturday morning, most of the field covered by a couple of tenths of a second.
Let's take a look at the circuit analysis as the cars come around. We'll be going green very soon. 19, it's good to see 19 cars. 211 laps, that equates to just a little bit over 500 kilometres. It's going to be a hard race today.
It is. No shifts. They don't shift around here. They're flat out most of the way around here. They have to make a pit stop every 47 laps. As you see, a 2-stage pit speed limit, that's the one. Going out of the pits, it's 50 miles an hour all the way down pit lane, then going around turn 1 before the racetrack, before they rejoin the racetrack, there's a 2nd stage limiter up to 85 miles an hour. We are ready to go green, Lee Diffie.
They come into turn 4. This is the only place, as Jeremy said, that they live. We are getting set to go. You hear communication from race control. They say we're set to go, so let's see the green. The pole sitter, Kenny Brack, gets a nice start. He gets the early jump as they all fall in behind. D'Amato thinks about the inside run on Michael Andretti, couldn't quite do it. Tracy has the inside run there on Bruno Junqueira as well, so a good clean start.
And it's 3 abreast down, and look at that 2 players' cars, Antonio Canan down the inside there. Oh, look at that, Tagliani and Carponci absolutely side by side. I think it was Carponci's car that almost drifted up into Tagliani there. They're still side by side, coming down into turn 4. On the outside is Tagliani. Can he make a move around the outside of Tony Canan? Yes, he can. Great move by Alex Tagliani.
What about that from the French-Canadian? Super stuff, and look at his teammate. Carpentier has lost 2 positions as he drops back. Well, they said we weren't going to see any passing here today. We've seen it right from the get-go. Alex Tagliani aggressive alongside his teammate. He pushes up hard. The difference besides the helmet, to look at those two, Tagliani is running the coloured maple leaf on the side, while Patrick Carpentier has the blue one on the side of that car. Looks at Servia on the inside. Here comes Carpentier. On the Spaniard, gets him.
Servia, he spoke to him after the warm-up this morning. They put a little more downforce into the car. Look at that. There's the car. That's Tagliani again, isn't it? Making a move there on Bruno Junqueira. That is for 7th place. So the 2 players' cars really working well. I was speaking to somebody, one of these chassis engineers yesterday, and they said, you know, the Reynard chassis has got good mechanical grip. It's going to be very good in race conditions. It seems that way earlier on. Oriol Servia, well, yeah, he is also running a Reynard, but a bit more downforce in the car this morning to make sure the car is more settled for the race when compared to qualifying trim. I think that is probably taken away a little bit of the straight line speed from Oriol Servia, but the 2 players' cars are on the move.
And look at the lead that Kenny Brack is displaying already. Beautiful stuff from Brack. It's out just under 2 seconds, so he's doing a fine job at the moment. Andretti still runs second from Cristiano D'Amato, then Tora Takagi. In fact, that lead is now gone to just over 2 seconds. Brack back to Andretti as we ride with Oriol Servia. Listen to that. It is flat out racing.
There we are. That's coming into turn 4. Just a little breathe of the throttle there to carry it down to the apex. On the throttle again, coming out now. It's hearing going into turn 1. Just a slight breathe off the throttle there as well. Not quite flat out through turn 1. I think he will be flat out through turns 2 and 3. Yeah. The minimum speed on this racetrack, just over 200 miles an hour. Yes, that's the minimum speed.
Nice crowd here at this one and only UK event in the 2002 Kart FedEx Championship Series. Incidentally, the new boy Darren Manning, back in the Team St George Ford Lola, maintains his starting position of, in fact he doesn't, he moves up one. He's gone up to 16th. And Christian Fittipaldi seems as though he's run into some problems.
He does, he does. He's off the pace, I think, gives Christian Fittipaldi dropping back there somewhat, and here goes Adrian Fernandez. This big group of cars here, but Christian is at the tail of the field, and Darren Manning is moving well indeed. He got past, I think he got past Jimmy Vasser that time around. Did he get past Jimmy?
Yes, he did, yeah.
Yes, so Darren Manning really doing a splendid job here, up now into 15th place. He's passed a couple of cars. He got past Shinji Nakano. Now he's got past Jimmy Vasser.
There's the championship leader, Cristiano de Mata. It's all about just gathering points for the diminutive Brazilian. He has a very, very 50-plus point margin over Bruno Junqueira. He's got Toru Takagi right on him, the Japanese driver. As we mentioned at the top of the show, achieved his best qualifying effort this weekend of the 2002 season, that is. Starting from outside the second row. There's Andretti slipping through, maintaining around about a 1.8 second, sometimes it goes out to 2-second margin between himself and race leader Kenny Brack. How could you forget the finish of last year's Rockingham 500? Brack led for the majority of the race. He shared that with Gilles de Ferran, and then de Ferran got him right on the last lap, last corner, and took that win. Brack finished second. But the pole man is doing a fine job at the moment.
It really is. He's absolutely flying. Is the pole man Kenny Brack. That gap was coming down just a little bit the last couple of laps. 25.9 seconds that time around, about 1 second slower than they qualified. And Christian Fittipaldi is still running. He's falling back in last place now. It's only going to be another 3 or 4 laps before he's going to go a lap down. And we hear from Newman Haas Racing that Christian Fittipaldi is complaining of an engine problem on that number 11 car.
So it's Kenny Brack, Michael Andretti, Cristiano de Mata, Toru Takagi, the top 4 unchanged. Dario Franchitti running 5. His teammate Paul Tracy is in 6th, so he's gained just 1 position. Tagliani is 7th, Junqueira 8th, Canaan 9th, and Patrick Carpentier in 10th position. Scott Dixon has made some nice moves. He's made up 4 positions. He's come from 16th up into 12th. And Toru Takagi is edging ever so close to Cristiano de Mata. The Japanese driver is doing a good run.
Certainly is. He's running very quickly there. In 4th place is Toru Takagi. Last time around, he's now he's still lapping about the same. The race leader, Kenny Brack, he's eased off his pace. The other guys are going quicker now. Last time around, Toru Takagi set the fastest lap of the race, 25.7.
Paul Tracy, there's problems. There is problems for Paul Tracy whilst running in 6th position. You can see his hand, the button on the steering wheel, talking to the team, and it looks like his race is done. So Tracy is just crawling back, as you can see on the inside. This is coming down into turn 4 by the looks of it. He is trying to make his way back to pit lane. And whilst it was Frank Kitty who was out of the race early in Denver, it looks like it's Paul Tracy's turn here.
And also Christian Fittipaldi now is a lap behind the leaders and running well off the pace. We're going to go yellow though. That car off Paul Tracy is in a dangerous location there round at the back of the track. So the yellows will come out. The pace will be slowed. Quite good news for Kenny Brack.
After the one and only full course caution, we're 20 laps into the Rockingham 500 here at the Rockingham Motor Speedway in Northamptonshire, England, and we are back under green, and the Swede, this is as good as a home race for Kenny Brack. He bolts away, gets a nice restart. Andretti, de Mata, Takagi, Franchitti, they all follow. The aggressiveness of the 2 players drivers early on, well, that paid dividends. We'll look at Tagliani. He's already starting to close in on the Scotsman, Dario Franchitti. Good work, good early work from them. Junqueira's nicely placed in 7th. Look at this, Carpentier thinks about it on Tony Kanaan, then thought twice. Oriol Servia's hanging in there as well, tucked in behind. Patrick Carpentier put a nice inside move on him early on. As we ride with the Spaniard now. The Visteon Patrick Racing Toyota. Now what's happened here? That is Tagliani and Junqueira. Junqueira's got past Tagliani. Tagliani has a problem. He's slowing. His teammate goes around the outside now. So...
Car coming, outside.
It was a
okay,
very...
runners, stay off the radio for a few minutes. Pit this lap tag. We're going to give you a regular stop, then we're going to change the battery.
There you have it.
That was Neil Mickerite. That was Neil Mickerite there, the Vice President of Operations for Team Players. Then they're going to change the battery, so clearly a misfire of some sort for Alex Tagliani. It's just 2 laps before he has to come on pit lane. Oh no, it's not. It's about 6 or 7 laps. I'm sorry. Has to come in by lap 47. We're on lap 42. Tagliani brings the Players car onto pit lane. Unscheduled stop.
Is it still running, Tag?
Is it still running?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to do a regular stop, then we're going to change the battery.
I have no more clutch. The clutch is down to the bulkhead. I have no more clutch in the car.
10-4, when we get going again, we'll have to give you a push, okay? Just stand still while we change the battery. Guys, before you change it, check the connections. Okay, turn it off.
So the
The clutch is down to the bulkhead.
10-4. We'll try and deal with that.
Players team have their work cut out for them. Tagliani was told to shut the engine down, so they go to work. So the frustration creeps down pit lane from Newman Haas to Players. Meanwhile, Brack is maintaining a lead. It varies, sometimes half a second, it creeps up towards a second.
What are you seeing there, guys?
Andretti continues to follow. D'Amato third. Takagi fourth. Franchitti still fifth. Junqueira has been elevated to sixth, courtesy of Tagliani's problem. Carpentier moves up to seventh. They're having Carpentier is having a strong run. Now Serbia is in eighth, Kanan is ninth, and Dixon has come from 16th to 10th. 45 laps in the books. They'll stop within the next 2.
Yes, they will, and unfortunately, one of them has already stopped. We're going to go yellow. We're going to go yellow. Not quite sure why this is. Christopher Fittipaldi is back out on the racetrack. Tagliani, though, is out of the race. Tagliani is out of that car, and
The pits are closed.
the pits are closed. We hear we've gone yellow now, so it'll be. This is to complete lap 46. We're on the 46th lap now completed. We're on the 47th. The pits are closed at the moment, and in that situation, then they race control. Even though they have to pit by lap 47, if the pits are closed, they can wait one more lap before they have to come onto pit lane, because there isn't any fault of the team. So it's not really going to make any difference whatsoever to the outcome of this race. And there is Kenny Brack now. He's down a slow car down behind the pace car. Fancy that will probably open the pits this time around. We'll watch for that board on the back straight, and I think they're still showing the red marker at the moment. So I believe the pits, no, there goes the green light. The green marker now is shown to the drivers. The pits are open. Here we come for the first round of scheduled pit stops. And Darren Manning and Adrian Fernandez are going to need less fuel than the other guys. If all goes well, they should be able to make up a few positions during this round of pit stops. They're going to have to take on less fuel. That takes less time. They should be able to get out on the track ahead of a couple of guys.
Talk about organised mayhem. Here we go. There is race leader Kenny Brack. He's done a fine job from the pole. Has led every single lap. Takagi has had an extremely strong run for Walker Racing in fourth. And on a track where it's hard to pass, like it is here at Rockingham, these stops are paramount to be efficient, fast, and effective.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
And Brack is out. Whoa, that was close. And Takagi looked like he got out in front of D'Amato. Now, one of the target cars, it looked like Junqueira was a little out of shape coming there, almost on the grass. So there it is. Brack has got out. Takagi, that was a super stop from the Walker boys.
Tremendous boys, work by the Walker boys. That is just tremendous. Tim Broyles there is the crew chief mechanic on car number 5, the pioneer car of Walker Racing. Toru Takagi, great work by those guys. He came into the pits in fourth place. Appears to have come out in second, so that is great work by them. I think the Reynard chassis is getting pretty good fuel consumption. Certainly the Toyota engine is more fuel efficient than the Honda, it would appear, and that would explain perhaps why Takagi's got out ahead certainly of Michael Andretti, but Takagi also got out ahead of the similarly powered Lola of Cristiano D'Amato. D'Amato and Takagi both have Toyota engines, so great work by Walker Racing. They made up their man a couple of places.
So far in this race, we have lost Paul Tracy and Alex Tagliani. Alex joins us now. Hi, Alex. It's Lee Dipper here in the international booth. Tell us what happened.
Well, I think it was an electronic problem. At the beginning, we thought it was just the battery that was going down, and
when we came in, we were expecting changing the battery, going back out, but it was a little bit more deep than that. So, you know, it's unfortunate because our car was really, really fast, and the guys were just getting prepared for a very fast stop because we were saving so much fuel on that stint. So, I guess you know, it's going to be next race.
Great shame, Alex. This is Jeremy Shaw up here. We're watching Dario Franchitti making an unscheduled pit stop. But Alex, your car, you said it was working well. A couple of great passes in the early stages of the race. That must have been fun.
Yeah, we set up the car this morning to be able to run everywhere on the track. And at the beginning of the race, I was really close to some of the guys, and it gave me the confidence to be fast because the car was really not upsetting on the turbulence. So that's why I went on the outside, and I got a couple of guys there, and then we were just, you know, waiting for our first stop. The Ford engine was really good on mileage, and we were expecting passing people on every stop, so that was our strategy.
And the track conditions, Alex?
Well, track conditions are really well. I think the cool temperature gives a lot of downforce to the cars, and it was very difficult to pass, but at the same time, it's still a good race for everybody.
Alex, thanks for your time, and we'll see you in Miami.
All right, thank you, guys.
Alex Tagliani out of the Rockingham 500 as we go green again. 2 cautions so far in this race. We are 51 laps into this 211 lap event. And there is Scott Dixon making very steady progress as he pushes his way up through this field.
Yeah, let's also talk about a lot of shuffling of positions there as we expected. Adrian Fernandez went all the way from, where was it before the round of pit stops? He was 14th. He came out in 7th. Darren Manning, not quite so fortunate. He came out in 14th place. He made up a couple of positions. One of those was at the expense of Dario Franchitti, who did have a problem during the pit stop. We're going to try and find out what the problem was there. And also Mario Dominguez made an extra stop as well. So we're going to find out what happened to Dario. But that great strategy there by Fernandez Racing gets Adrian up into 7th place.
Pretty handy work from Patrick Carpentier's team too. He came in 7th, came out 5th. Nice work from the French-Canadian. And look behind him, pushing extremely hard, Scott Dixon. Let's not lose sight of the fact that the Kiwi started in 16th position. Now, there was only 7/10 of a second, less than a second, separating this entire 19-car field. That gives you an indication of how close it was in qualifying. So it's not as though Dixon was that slow or all that far behind the pole sitter Kenny Brack, but it's a lot of positions to make up, and that's exactly what last year's Rookie of the Year has done. Fresh from his second, his best result of the season on the streets of Denver, Colorado. He's very high in confidence. His spirits are good, and he is running strong at the moment. So the revised order after that round of pit stops: Brack, Takagi 1 and 2, Andretti 3, D'Amato 4, Carpentier 5, Dixon 6, Fernandez 7, Junqueira got dropped back to 8, Kanan and Serbia the top 10. Now we have had word from the Walker pit that Takagi only short filled, Jeremy.
Takagi short fill, well, that's fairly amazing. That means he's going to have to come in to make a pit stop a good bit before anybody else, and it could work. It could work as long as there isn't a yellow flag interruption between the time that he comes onto pit lane and everybody else comes onto pit lane, because when he makes a pit stop, he is going to lose a lap. That's what you do at this place. When you hit under green, you're going to lose a whole lap. And talking of that, we see Mario Dominguez in now to make another unscheduled pit stop. He was running at the back of the field. I heard his guys going to work there. But if you come in, it's an interesting strategy by Walker Racing there. Certainly, they're within the window now to be able to get to the end on 4 pit stops. But it's going to be an interesting call. It might work out in favor, it might not. It's a gamble, but you know, this series is so competitive. That's how you win races. If you take a gamble, prepared to take a chance, maybe you can come away with a victory.
Update on the Dario Franchitti situation. Apparently he stalled on his original pit stop, and because he lost so much time, they brought him back in again just to top it right up. And he's making steady progress through the field. He's already made up a couple of positions. He's in 13th and on the way up. He's behind Shinji Nakano, and Vassar is the next one on the list as well. Half a second between Brack and Takagi. There's the 3rd place Mike Landretti. 4th is the Newman Haas Haviland Toyota. Look at this up front. This is for the lead. Brack and Tora Takagi.
Yeah, and that car ahead of them is the green car of Mario Dominguez. He's just made another pit stop there, so the race leaders are going to come up behind Dominguez. And is that going to give Takagi an opportunity to make a move for the lead? We'll have to wait and see, but it might well do just that.
Two Toyota-powered cars, different chassis. The lead car is a Lola chassis. The second car is one of only 4 Reynard chassis cars. And Brack and Takagi, it's hardly two names that you say together often, is it?
It certainly isn't.
Kenny Brack has endured a very frustrating season, and this certainly will bring a smile to his face. They're very much behind Christian Fittipaldi there. And look at this! Takagi on the outside!
That was the slow car of Christian Fittipaldi that was keeping well out of the way, down to the inside of the racetrack, and I fancy Christian will pretty much, I'm sure he'll park that car with a couple laps. There's no point in running around there off the pace. Everybody else is running at a very similar pace. They're all within 0.4 of a second in terms of their best lap times in this race so far. I reckon Christian's going to park it very shortly.
Yeah, he's already 18 laps down. And we focus on the battle for 1 and 2. And Michael Andretti has made a little ground on Tora Takagi.
Yes, he has, and that's what happened. We've seen it every time we've gone green. It happened at the beginning of the race. It happened after that first caution. We're going to go yellow again now, cinching the Kano. A heavy crash
Debris, stay low, stay low. Stay low, stay low.
Around in the car there, and we tell the other guys, you can hear that one of the spotters there from race control telling to the crews, telling to the spotters to tell the drivers, stay low coming off turn 4. The impact was there in turn 4. There's probably some debris up against the wall. Stay down low on the racetrack to the inside of the racetrack. Steer clear of that debris.
Paid off. And Carpentier, who started back in 10th position, currently runs in 5th. He's halved his starting order and is doing a wonderful job. D'Amato, who started 3rd, is just back 1 position. He is in 4th. And Kenny Brack has led every single lap of this race, all 70 of them. He wants to make up for that missed opportunity last year when Gilles de Ferran wrapped him up around the outside of turn 4 and took the victory in the inaugural Rockingham 500. Brack is looking to be a hard man to stop today.
Pit, there he is. This is that's Derek Walker on the radio to Tora Takagi. Pit this time. So if he did short fuel, it didn't cost him at all, because everybody now, all the race leaders, are on pit lane for their second scheduled pit stop. Great stuff here. Here we are. It's all on the pit lane. This is going to determine how this race is going to work out. In the meantime, Dario Franchitti, who made a later pit stop, will go past in the lead.
Radio you can hear is for Takagi. Derek Walker talking. Another good effort from the Walker Racing organisation. This is Brack. It's going to be close as he cuts it sideways out of pit lane, and he gets out in front of Takagi, and D'Amato beats Andretti out. And look at that, Patrick Carpentier got out ahead of Scott Dixon, and Fernandez beats Shinkawa as well.
Great stuff there. In the meantime, of course, Dario Franchitti is leading this motor race, and who is in second place? Darren Manning, a British 1-2. They made pit stops out of sequence with everybody else. They're a long way ahead of the rest of the field. Right, actually, they're a whole lap ahead of everybody else right now. There goes Franchitti again. Here comes Mario Dominguez, who is a lap down in any case. Then Kenny Brack. And we see Darren Manning is running right behind Michael Andretti, but he's a lap ahead of Michael Andretti. So Franchitti and Manning, one whole lap ahead of the rest of the field right now.
Serbia won that little tug of war with Tony Kanaan. They're back in 13th and 14th, so that was a valuable stop for Oriel Serbia. Got out ahead. Nice work. Are you okay, Jeremy? Are you composed? A British 1-2 at the moment? Relax.
Yeah, great, isn't it? Of course, it's not going to last terribly long. Dario Franchitti, he made his last pit stop on lap 66. So he will come in again 47 on top of that is, 113, isn't it? So he can go another 18 laps before he needs to make a pit stop. Darren Manning also came in around about the same time, so interesting strategy by these two. And if there is now a yellow within the next 16, 17 laps, those two guys are going to be able to make their pit stop under yellow, and they will not lose a lap, so they will still remain ahead of the rest of the field even after they made the pit stops. When they do come onto pit lane, they will have to, they will the other guys will cycle on around, so the other guys will get back on the same lap as those two, but Darren Manning and Dario Franchitti will retain first and second places.
Big news on Michael Andretti. He was 3 miles an hour. Look at this, making a move on the inside of Darren Manning as Patrick Carpentier. Now, Andretti has been pinged for 3 miles an hour too fast in pit lane.
Boy, that's a costly stop, a costly miscue there for Michael Andretti. And meanwhile, Dario Franchitti is turning the fastest laps of the race. He's 25.4 last time around. He's actually been a little bit quicker than that. So Dario Franchitti is flying in the lead of this motor race.
And they have just signaled the black flag to Michael Andretti. He'll have to come in and perform a drive-through penalty for that speed. And as we mentioned at the top of the show, it's that new style two-stage pit lane speed limiter, where they just in the name of caution and safety of exiting pit lane to avoid another Zanardi situation.
Another fastest lap for Dario Franchitti, 25.329 seconds. That's an average speed of a shade, was just about exactly 210 miles an hour. It's a replay of those pit stops.
This is the second round of stops. Watch to the right of your screen. First car out, sideways style there. Kenny Brack gets it out. D'Amato was very good. Popped it out right in front of Michael Andretti. Look at that. Carpentier and Dixon were side by side. Fernandez stayed ahead of Bruno Junqueira. Now watch this dogfight here between Kenan and Servia. This went on all the way around. And Servia in the end won out.
Well, we hear that Michael Andretti's been shown the black flag 6 laps in a row, and he's not going to get away with many more before he's going to be penalised even more. He's not going to fight that penalty. If he was going too fast on the pit lane, he's not going to get away with it. I mean, he's got to serve that penalty, and the longer he stays out, the more difficult he makes it for himself, because if he doesn't serve the penalty, they're going to not just have a drive-through, they're going to have a stop and go, and it won't be just a short stop either, I fancy. So the crew needs to get on the blower to Michael Andretti. You need to bring that car on the pit lane. You might not be very happy about it, but you did exceed the speed limit.
Well, he's asking the team on the radio, what have I done? What have I done? Why am I being black flagged?
And they're going to have to tell him the bad news is because you went too fast. And meanwhile, you're going too fast. Another fastest lap for Dario Franchitti. 1:25.3 again for Dario on lap 104. Now Michael Andretti brings the car on the pit lane.
And that has really taken him out of a very, very strong position in this Rockingham 500. We have confirmation that it was 88 miles per hour.
And that's 3 miles an hour over the limit. 85 is the limit in the second stage there. It's from a pit exit, from the last occupied pit to where the cars rejoin the racetrack. You can go from 50 to 85. And there's actually there's both a speed gun there and a time between those 2 points on the racetrack. If you are faster than that set time, which is about 4.5 seconds, then you've obviously been going too fast and you're going to be in for a penalty. That's what happened to Michael Andretti. He was querying it, but that has been confirmed by race control, and he serves that penalty, and that will be very, very, very costly.
We're over the halfway mark now in the Rockingham 500, 107 laps into this, and it's a 211 lap journey today for round 15 of the Kart FedEx Championship Series. Franchitti leads at the moment with Manning, Dominguez, and then we look back to the man who has led for the majority of the race, Kenny Brack, still hounded by Toru Takagi. That's the top 5. Great shot of this fabulous venue here in Northamptonshire, the Rockingham Motor Speedway. And Franchitti, the local hero, up front for the meantime. Further back in the field is not where he'd like to be, but Jimmy Vasser has been very consistent today. Qualified a little further back than where he would like to be in 13th, and it's been as high as, I think, where he is now, 11th. He may have snuck into 10th momentarily, but sits 11th, very consistent in the Shell Ray Hall Ford as we ride with Dario Franchitti as he comes into the pits.
It's a little bit earlier than he needed to, isn't it? This is lap 110 for Dario Franchitti. He didn't need to come in, I don't think, until lap 114 by my reckoning, but maybe I miscalculated there. So Dario is on to pit lane. There he is. George Klotz and the guys going to work, and we've got to hope this time, Dario, you don't stall the engine.
Let's see if the Scotsman can get out.
Roger, the front lane control off. Judge back on.
That is the team manager there, Kyle Moore, is saying turn off the pit control limiter. There's a limiter there to stop them exceeding the speed limit down pit lane. And when you press that button, the engine will not create enough horsepower to go more than 50 miles an hour, the initial stage on that limiter. And if you sometimes what that does, we saw Dario Franchitti fell foul of that limiter 2 years ago in Vancouver. When the wheels start spinning, the engine cuts out altogether and you stall the engine. That cost him a win in Vancouver, and that's what Kyle Moore was saying. If you turn that system off initially as you leave the pit box and then turn it on again once you're underway, you're not going to stall the engine.
And Darren Manning, in his kart debut, leads this race as he comes up on the inside of Dario Franchitti. Now, apparently Dario was complaining on the radio about being held up. That's why they brought him in early, to get out of that situation, to complete his next mandatory stop. And that has allowed this young British driver, Darren Manning, to inherit the lead of the Rockingham 500. 112 laps into round 15, and Darren Manning, for Team St George, he leads for the meantime and has not put a foot wrong all weekend. Has been very impressive, has showed that he can handle himself, and this is looking back from Dario Franchitti, from one Brit to another. And Manning enters pit lane. So that takes him out of the equation, and Kenny Brack will move back into the #1 spot. Here is Darren Manning, the Dale Coyne owned car. I think from memory this is a Pappas car, ex-Pappas car.
It is, yeah. They bought the car from Sigma Autosport. That team has ceased operations. There is the car, Team St George Shore for Men on the car. That's the sponsor of this motor race here. And Tom Howard's guys, they completed the service on the car. And the last of the fuel going in. Good stop there by Tom Howard and Team St George. And there goes Darren Manning, service completed, back out onto the racetrack.
Very, very valuable experience for this young guy, and has done a pretty good job.
An excellent job.
Well, he feels as though, a little bit frustration. You can only fit 22 drivers into a 22-car field in Formula One, and it's pretty competitive to get a seat. He realises that it's very tough, and that dream for the meantime may not come true. So he and his manager, Mike O'Brien, are looking very, very seriously at trying to get into the world of champ car racing as quickly as they can. Meanwhile, Kenny Brack on lap 115 leads again. Takagi gets balked a little by Manning there. Will need to get around him. He's lost a lot of ground to Kenny Brack in that experience. So Brack scoots away now and enjoys a 1.3 second lead. Where is Takagi? Look at this. He finally gets past Darren Manning. So too does Cristiano D'Amato as Manning builds back up to speed. Go. We have got Kanan, we've got Tora Takagi. The second place car is in pit lane right now. Derek Walker.
Steady now, steady.
Talking to Takagi.
Reset.
This is not his last stop. He will need to perform another stop. So
Get ready.
There's problems down there in the Monan pit. One of the crew members didn't look happy with that, and there's side by side here. Kanan saying, oh boy, not again. He went side by side with Serbia before. Now he's doing it with Takagi.
Yeah, and he pulled away there, didn't he? Going past him, but going in the speed limit zone. That's pretty interesting. Tony Kanan is, that's a shame. Tora Takagi is in contention to win this race. Tony Kanan isn't, and I think if he'd been smart there, he might have let Takagi go. I don't really see the point at this stage. He's well off the pace. He is a lap, all but a lap behind Tora Takagi now. When those pit stops, they came in pretty much together, but here goes Takagi. Good, okay, fine. So Kanan there, he's still struggling a little bit. That's Mario Dominguez also making a pass on Tony Kanan, but Takagi is up to speed right away, and Tony Kanan is struggling.
140 laps down, 71 laps to go. And you will see Brack and co in very, very soon for their next round of stops.
Yeah, with Kanan out of the way, the race leader Kenny Brack has brought his lap times down by a whole second. Here the race leaders on pit lane. Dario Franchitti cycles back into the lead.
Fernandez is already in and serviced. You can see Brack is in there. That's the first of the Ganassi cars. Here come the others. Patrick Carpentier. It's been a very strong run from the French-Canadian. Some slight adjustment to the front wing there.
Dave, wait. Okay, away you go. All right, away you go. Watch.
And a little bit of a hesitation on exit there, but finally got going again. D'Amata's gone, bottom of screen. He's serviced, and look at this, side by side, Dixon and Carpentier. Here comes Junqueira. Pretty hectic down that end of pit lane today.
Yeah, very hectic down there. Look at that, great stuff as they're coming out on the racetrack. Great view there for the fans up in that big south grandstand there in turn one. There's Jimmy Vasser. He's just made a stop. And Darren Manning now will find himself back in second place.
They're riding with Oriol Servia. Servia's sitting in 10th at the moment. Actually, no, he's moved himself up to 8th after that round of pit stops. So the Vistion Patrick Racing driver doing well. Here is the pit shuffle. Left of screen indicates who has made, who has lost, and Dario Franchitti in for his next stop now.
And Dario Franchitti is a lap ahead of everybody else right now. He's just going to pit lane. Yeah, he's just brought the car back onto pit lane. There is Dario Franchitti. This is another service there for him. He gets underway. He will lose that lead. And Darren Manning, once again, will find him in the lead of this motor race. He was a lap down. He's out of sequence with everybody else, but he's certainly running a great race here.
We're under yellow again for the 4th time. Oh, wow.
This is fabulous news for Darren Manning.
This doesn't appear, and that looks like it is debris on the circuit.
Debris on the racetrack, we hear from Darren Manning. Is this a, dare I say it, a NASCAR yellow?
Bit of a weird incident, just seeing that end plate fall off, do you think?
Yeah, it certainly is, actually. Certainly isn't something you normally see, but there's a lot of air pressure there acting on that rear wing end plate, and this is a year-old car, and the team has worked wonders to prepare it for this race. But yeah, there's a variety of reasons why something might have failed on the in terms of the mounting of that rear wing end plate. As we saw earlier on, the team is going to do their regular service first of all, as fuel and 4 fresh tyres, and then they're going to worry about that end plate after. They'll probably send Darren out. Yes, they're going to send him out around now, try and figure out what to do. Get him out on the racetrack, and if they bring him in again next time around, they might be able to make some changes and maybe get a new bolt on there. Here's a replay now. He's following Adrian Fernandez, and he's coming now, into...
There he goes.
Ooh, yikes, there he goes. Exit stage right, the wing end plate. So just the air pressure there really is immense, acting on that rear wing end plate. And as the air flows over the wing at, let me say it again, in excess of 210 miles an hour, there's all sorts of aerodynamic influences working on that end plate, and it just enough to shear off the bolt there and take it off into oblivion. Well, it's actually, unfortunately, or fortunately for him, onto the race track. And that debris has brought out the yellow flag.
There is Kenny Brack, poised to take victory here at the Rockingham 500. We still have some 52 laps to go. So there's still plenty of work left to be done, but it's certainly looking good for the Sweet.
This is a great opportunity now for George Klotz, Team Cool Green, to get their guy out ahead, perhaps, of one of these Toyota-powered cars ahead of them. That would be Kenny Brack and Cristiano D'Amata. Here we go.
We're going to be around D'Amata again on the mark.
This is Kenny Brack's radio. Dario Franchitti and the Team Cool Green organisation go to work. This should be quick. They send him, it is quick. Great stuff from Franchitti. And look at that, Franchitti has been released while Brack, who is all the way up at the other end of pit lane, has just been serviced.
Yeah, completely opposite ends of pit lane. Here comes Dario Franchitti. Can he make down there?
Oh, there's a problem.
There is a problem.
So Franchitti is out. Franchitti is at the front of the pack. And look at the target, boys. They can't believe it.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
Well, the crowd will be loving this. Sensational stuff from Team Cool Green and Dario Franchitti. Look at them all bunched up as they come back out. The 27 car hits the field out in front.
Great stuff there. This is so exciting. I think, this is all part of the racing. This is what Champ Car racing is all about. Pit strategy, pit stops, great racing on the racetrack, just great entertainment all around. You can see there's a pit shuffle there. Great work there by the graphics guys. Dario Franchitti. There's Kyle Moyer there, car number 27, telling Dario Franchitti, you're out in the lead here now, and we've done our bit. It's up to you, Dario.
Look at that. The Team Phil Green guys, yeah, congratulating each other. They know they worked hard, and let's not forget.
No, it's working. I'm watching the second stick off right now.
Let's not forget the trouble that Franchitti had earlier, where he stalled the car not once but twice, and they believe that it may have been a traction control problem, so he has come back from adversity. Another big winner in that round of pit stops, Oriol Servia, sensational stuff. He is up to 4th. Patrick Carpentier is up to 3rd. Nice work.
And Kenny Brack, 9th place. Can you believe it? He comes into the pits in the lead and leaves in 9th.
Look at Oriol Servia, placed 4th. Sensational run from him.
Great work. Here we are. We're getting ready to go green now. It'll be, 33 laps to go. Getting ready to go green. And Oriol Servia in 4th place. The race leader, Dario Franchitti.
Let's do it. 32 laps from here. Great shot of turn 1 and Rockingham Motor Speedway. So is Franchitti, D'Amato, Patrick Carpentier and Oriol Servia. Keep in mind, Servia started all the way back in 14th position and runs in 4th. So that's been a storming drive. Carpentier, 10th to 3rd. So there's been some big movers in this field. Then it's Bruno Junqueira and Takagi, who has run as high as 2nd in this race, has dropped to 6th.
Another quick note as well. Michael Andretti and Michel Jourdain Jr. elected not to pit during this caution. They're going to need to make a pit stop before the end of the race. They're hoping by not pitting now, they got themselves back on the lead lap. If there's another caution, then they can take on service and remain on the lead lap, and then they can go to try and battle for positions towards the end of this race.
We've got someone slowing dramatically there on the inside of the track. It may have been Michael Andretti, who's down a lap further back in 10th, who was also a front-running car. What about the stunning performance from Darren Manning, the British rookie? He is running 9th in his first ever Champ Car start and is the last car on the lead lap. Tremendous performance from he and Dale Coyne and the entire Ray Malek Dale Coyne Association. Some of the faces down there in the Team Green, they know just how significant this is. Franchitti has been a big-time name in kart for many years, but it's always been on road or street courses. He has never been victorious on an oval. He's come close many, many times, but has never converted. Well, he is just 2 laps from achieving that. Further down the order, Junqueira is still chipping away at Servia for that 4th. Takagi is 6th, Vassar is 7th, Brack, Manning and Andretti rounds out the top 10. Michel Jourdain Jr. will score points again, and Scott Dixon has come up into the final points position. You heard there on the radio Dario Franchitti's team saying last lap, the Bridgestone running order will give you the final lap order, but this is the only car that matters. Franchitti, 3rd in the championship. He'll edge closer to Bruno Junqueira. He won't overtake him though. And Dario Franchitti, everybody hoped he could do it last year. It didn't happen. He's done it this year.
Get your shit together and win on an oval.
He is the man today. He has come back from adversity. Dario dominates.
Good job, guys. Good job. Fantastic job. Fantastic.
Let's take a look at the final results of the Rockingham 500. Franchitti, D'Amato and Patrick Carpentier, your podium place getters. Oriol Servia, stunning stuff. That's his best result of the season from Bruno Junqueira. Takagi ran very strong today. That's a great result also. But no one finished better than Dario Franchitti. It was truly Dario's day.
There from Father Phil DeRay, and Dario, boy, what does this mean? Your first oval track win on home soil.
Well, the first stop, I didn't think it was going to happen here. I can assure you the car felt great, but you know, we just had the stall and then the tyre going down, but God, it feels great.
So what happened there in those pit stops?
We couldn't get out. I don't know if it was a clutch problem. I thought it was a traction control problem, but we turned it off. So I think it was a clutch problem. It was all the way in the limiter trying to feed the clutch and it just wasn't going. But the car was awesome.
You know, it looked like you remember 2 years ago at Vancouver when that pit lane speed limiter cost you a victory there. Was it the same sort of feeling? What were you thinking? What was going through your mind when it stalled?
I did comment on the radio, yeah, I think it cost us another one, but you know, everybody hung in there all day. Kyle Moyer kept working. He said, don't worry, we can do other things. You know, we're looking good. The car was great. The guys in the pit crew, that last stop, I haven't given them a lot of stick this year, but their pit stops, that last one was dynamite.
And super strategy as well. You're slightly off from the other guys in the lead pack, and it paid off, didn't it, Dario?
Yeah, well, Kyle had to come up with some quick thinking there because we were in trouble. Kyle and Scott just crunched the numbers and got it done.
Sensational stuff. Someone who was very quiet all day, but he has just done the job again. Points-wise, let's take a look at it. And the man I'm talking about is Cristiano De Matta. The Kart FedEx Championship Series point situation after 15 of the 19 rounds. De Matta still has an incredibly comfortable lead, and Frank Kitty has leapfrogged Bruno Junqueira. So he moves back up into second, and Patrick Carpentier edges closer to Junqueira for that third spot. So Junqueira pushed back to third. Fittipaldi remains in fifth, but Michel Jourdain Jr. now only 4 points in arrears. Tracy, no points today, and Michael Andretti, who finished in 10th, he picked up 3 championship points. And look at that. Tremendous scenes up there on the podium. Wonderful stuff. So several weeks break before the Grand Prix of the Americas. We look forward to that one. Yet another brand new event on this kart calendar. A successful day here at the Rockingham Motor Speedway on this 1.5 mile oval. On behalf of Jeremy Shaw and the entire team, I'm Lee Diffie. Enjoy the break. We'll see you in Miami.